If you run a small business and you've been told you need to do SEO, you've probably been pitched a $2,000 per month agency retainer, sold the course, or pointed to 50 different tools. You don't need any of that, not at the start. You can do the SEO that actually moves the needle for a small business like yourself in about 2 hours a week with tools that are mostly free. I'm going to show you exactly how live on my screen in the next few minutes. Let's get into it. First of all, small business SEO is not the same as enterprise SEO. You don't have a team of 10, you don't have six-figure content budget, and honestly, you don't need them. You're not trying to rank for running shoes, you're not trying to rank for, fancy queries where you're competing against companies like Nike, Microsoft, and so on. You're trying to rank for queries like best CRM for freelance designer or emergency plumber in Manchester. So specific queries that are very narrow, and every single person typing those is minutes away from buying. So the game is different, and the reason why I'm showing this on my screen is because this company specifically that we've been working with, we only have 11 pages on their website, and those 11 pages are driving 1.3K in value. So if they were to run ads on the same keywords, they would be spending 1.3K in order to get the same SEO traffic like the one we're driving for them. And this shows that you don't need 200 blog posts. You need three things: a website that Google can actually read and trust. This is super important. A small handful of pages, like in this case just 11 pages, that target the exact searches that your customers are running, and the discipline to keep at it for 90 days before deciding whether it's working or not. Discipline is the most overlooked fact. A lot of people give up on SEO after the first 2 or 3 articles and not really seeing, significant traffic coming from them. But 2 or 3 articles most of the time is usually not enough. You need a little bit more than that at least. One of the first things I look at, and this is probably one of the most boring parts about SEO, and almost every small business I've talked to gets wrong, is before you actually go ahead and create a blog page, or start writing content, Google has to be able to read your site and figure out what it's about. So what I do is when I audit a new website, I literally just open the inspect tool on that specific website and I start to check, okay, is there an H1? So this is the H1 here, for example. And in this case specifically, if they were to just have, plumbing in Manchester, like something quite generic, that would not help them rank, but they're ranking very high for plumbers in Manchester. So what they did is they actually changed to your trusted plumbing and heating experts in Manchester. And then the first description, the P paragraph here, actually mentions how many years of experience they have and links to their specific services. So this is really good, and this is often so overlooked. And secondly, the main thing for this is actually checking the meta title. So you can see the meta title here is JB7 Plumbing and Heating Ltd Manchester, trusted expert. So this is super important. They follow the same strategy as the H1, but they also have they mention the exact location and their name, JB7. So when people search for JB7, because you might be running across multiple channels, it's very important that you show up first and no competitor actually manages to hijack your own branded searches. Next up, what I do is I actually go to PageSpeed Insights. So this is a free tool made by Google, and it just detects how fast a website loads. And this is super important because if a website doesn't load fast enough, well, crawlers will not really access it. They will just, give up and not crawl your website. And secondly, human users, if it takes longer than like a few seconds to load, they will literally just bounce, they will go away. So as you can see, for this website specifically, their performance overall is really good, especially from an SEO perspective, best practices, accessibility, but the performance, the loading experience could improve. And the main reasons why this is not ideal is because the largest contentful pane, so the time it takes for showing the image, the hero section and so on, is 2.1 seconds, and that's because they use a very high quality image right on the hero section. And also the total blocking time, and that's also because there's maybe some scripts that they have that they're loading and so on that are taking a while. You see there's a reCAPTCHA that is being loaded, and also the image delivery that's quite slow. So this could definitely be improved, and this is one of the things that I look at first when auditing any new website, because performance of your website is super important. Now onto the fun part. So now we're actually going to use Claude to understand what people are searching for and what kind of queries I should be showing up to capture high intent traffic. So we use a prompt that you can see here on the screen, where we basically just provide the website, the location, the services, and the ICP that we have. So we just give this to Claude and it will help you, guide you through the process of understanding what kind of queries people are searching for that you should be showing up in. Let's see what it says. You'll notice one thing that I did is that I don't actually just go straight to keywords. Everyone just goes straight to keywords. But what you need to understand is I'm trying to understand the customer, not the keywords. So instead of just immediately looking for like specific keywords, I'm trying to understand what would my customers search when they need me the most. And I'm trying to identify that specific query and rank for that query. So when I'm looking through the response that Claude gave me, actually this is really good. Emergency plumber Manchester. When people are searching for plumbers, most of the time is because they're having an emergency and they need, a 24-hour plumber near me when, let's say, one of your, God forbid, water pipes is having a leak at 10 p.m. in the evening after you just took a shower. You're gonna search for a 24-hour plumber near me and hope that someone is open to come and help you get it fixed, right? So the next thing, boiler not working, right? So those are issue-based, problem-based queries that people search for. New boiler cost Manchester. So when someone had an issue and they're looking to replace it, I need to pop up in those conversations. Plumber near me, plumber in Manchester suburbs. So this is very important because let's say that I'm serving only a few suburbs of the city of Manchester. It's very important that I show up specifically in those and maybe in the other ones as well. But I need to define what my most important suburbs are. And then boiler service coast, annual boiler service Manchester. Those are just the regular things that happen, and it's very important that you show up in those because this could provide recurring revenue. So if we look through all those ideas, which are really, really good, you'll notice that they're mainly related to problems or issues and mainly related to regular services that people would have to follow over time. And generic informational searches like what is X, like top of the funnel queries, they might bring some traffic, but they're not actually the thing that makes people buy. So you can focus on them if you want, but realistically, they won't drive as high of an ROI as if you were to actually focus on the queries that will bring you clients right now. And as a small business, realistically, I'm a small business owner myself. I don't have time to focus, on 100 pages. If, let's say, out of 100 pages, 10 bring me the most leads, then I need to focus on those 10. And if out of those 10, the 3 of them or 4 of them bring me the most leads out of those 10, then I need to focus on those the most. I cannot lose my rankings for those 3 or 4 pages. So very important for a small business. You can skip top of the funnel, like what is X, how does it work, things like that. What's important for you is to focus on bottom of the funnel queries, so specifically issue related queries, people that are looking for you right now and people that are also looking for regular services around their area. That is incredibly important. And what we do here is that we actually use a second prompt that helps you understand the sort of customer questions, customer objections, hesitations that they would have when searching for those queries and what you need to include on that page in order to make sure that you get past those questions and hesitations that potential buyers have. So this is the prompt right here. That's usually the follow-up prompt that we use to Claude in order to understand exactly how we need to structure our pages. So for example, I see Claude is already generating an answer here. Emergency plumber Manchester. Will they actually turn up and how badly am I about to get stung on price? So you see, people want to know the price, exactly how much they are going to pay and will they actually turn up. So if that person calls you or just schedules a meeting with you, will you actually go to that meeting? So it's very important to show customer stories, very important to specifically show a quote as to how much it's going to cost. Especially, I love this thing from Claude. They've heard the stories of someone quoting £80 on the phone and presenting a £400 invoice. I mean, that's so important. Boiler not working. Do I actually need a plumber, or is this something I can sort in 5 minutes? They don't want to pay £90 for someone to press the reset button. They're also afforded it's something catastrophic and expensive. Diagnostic content for sales pitch seconds, so trying to help people understand whether they need you or not. So that's super useful, and in today's world with so much competition, it's so important to build trust. A short try these 3 things before you call. Wow, I mean, if I was to go, let's say, having a problem with my boiler and then literally see a page like this, I try those 3 things, they don't work, I will feel like this business here built some trust with me, because they didn't just try to pitch me straight away, they actually try to help me directly in the moment, and then I can reach out to them in case, you know, I need more help. So this prompt itself is really golden, and if you guys want to get those prompts, feel free to comment prompt down below and we'll send them to you for free, absolutely no cost. We want to make sure you can squeeze as much value out of Claude and squeeze as much organic traffic as possible. And now the last piece of advice that I have for you, and we've seen work really well, is you'll notice here how there's, for example, emergency plumber Manchester, boiler not working, no hot water, no heating. So those are different queries that people have. And what people will do is a lot of the time they will literally take all of those, group them into one page, one massive page, and think, you know, put it on their landing page, their like main website, the homepage, and be like, okay, I'm done here. But realistically, you need to have one page per intent. So if the intent is emergency plumber Manchester, that's one page, and you'll have this keyword in your H1, in your meta title, in your meta description, and make sure to really capture the intent of the person searching for that. So this exercise right here is great because it really makes you understand what's going on through the mind of that person and how you need to structure that page in order to capture that intent. And this is super important because search engines, they will rank you higher if people stay longer on your page. So if you manage to capture the right intent, you'll actually be also driving higher rankings as well. So almost all of this sounds painfully obvious, but no one really does it because it takes quite a bit of effort in order to play those exercises where you can actually understand what goes on through the mind of a potential customer when they're searching for emergency plumber Manchester or boiler not working. But this is very important because you need to capture the right intent, and 3 to 5 focused pages will beat 100 not focused pages every single time. So if you were looking for a place and a way to start your SEO journey for your small business, this is the best way. Those 2 prompts can really help you unlock the start to your SEO journey. So everything I just showed you, it works. But if I was to do SEO, let's say I was just about to start a small business tomorrow, here's the catch: figuring out which searches to build pages around, writing those pages so they actually rank, and keeping an eye on whether they're working. So even though I go through those prompts, it actually takes time. And you know, I have a small business to run, I have other things on my mind, and maybe SEO is not on the top of my list. So the good news is that I am the founder of SEOForge.ai. We're a super small team and working relentlessly to try and build something that can help you squeeze as much organic traffic, high intent organic traffic as possible from traditional search engines like Google and AI search engines like ChatGPT and Claude. And I want to show you how it works because I believe it can save you so much time, and it's only for the fraction of a price that you'd pay a freelancer or, God forbid, an SEO agency. So once you come to our website, we ask you several questions and we use those to build topic clusters. So we've looked through emergency plumbing Manchester, boiler not working right. Those are just intents that users have when they type in a query. And what we do is we expand on those. We capture different angles of people searching for different things, like we've seen different suburbs and so on. Let's say maybe it's boiler not working, maybe it's leaking water pipe, maybe it's anything else that we can capture. And based on the questions, based on your responses to our questions, we actually build full topic clusters. We don't just find you random keywords. And then for each topic cluster, we will maybe have anywhere between 5 to 15 articles per topic cluster covering all the angles of that topic. And for each article, we actually generate the full article idea and content brief right here. And either you can do it on autopilot, or if you want to do it manually, you can actually start generating those articles at any moment. So now let me show you how an article actually looks like, because you can have the best SEO strategy in the world, but if you don't provide quality content, right? Like if this YouTube video is not to be useful to you, you would not be watching it. You'd just go away. Despite the fact that, let's say I was optimizing for keywords or whatever, it just doesn't work. The content needs to be high quality. It needs to solve the user query. It needs to answer the user's question. So our articles, they do that. We literally crawl the entire web. We look at research papers, at podcasts, at forums, at websites, depending on the niche that you're in. And we bring in together unique data, unique insights, unique perspectives in order to make sure that we deliver great quality content. And it's not enough to just have great quality text, because a lot of people now, they're more driven by images, by things that show there was a lot of effort put into this article, which makes it a high quality article. So this is why when we collect this unique data, we actually create images for you. So they're not AI generated stock images, which are the worst, by the way. I'd rather use real stock images like we do here. But we create charts, infographics, flow diagrams, anything in order to show to people that, there is real value in this, and they can actually look at something visual to understand the content. And it's very important because we've seen customers also get a bump of about 5 to 10% in organic traffic. Since those images right here, they're actually useful. They get indexed on Google image search. And when people search for specific things like data, perspectives, insights, and so on, those images will pop up, and then people will be clicking on them and accessing your blog, which I think is just great. So instead of, just using stock images, which I think are great, we also do charts and so on, and this really helps people drive even more organic growth. My two favorite things about our articles as well are we generate a full list of frequently asked questions. So some people, let's say the core search that they run is emergency plumber Manchester, but some people will say like, hey, what's the best emergency plumber near me? What's like an emergency plumber that's open right now near me? So we use the FAQs to actually create content that can service those different types of searches around the same keyword. And that's very important because it helps you capture more traffic. And apart from that, we also include sources at the bottom. So whenever you have a specific type of content that you want to write for your people, like for example, let's say you wanted for that emergency plumber Manchester, you wanted to have a 3-step list on exactly what to do to understand what's happening and whether you need to call a plumber immediately or not. So we don't just create that list of 3 steps. We also provide some sources of like, maybe YouTube video on people who ran that. Maybe we have a guide, so we internally link to our website on what to do exactly, or maybe we have images of us doing it. So we make sure to include sources at the bottom, and that's very important because it shows Google, first of all, that this is a well-researched article, and also shows any human reader, if they're searching for emergency plumbers, they won't look at this, but if they're searching for something else, maybe more top of the funnel, they will look at this and be like, yeah, okay, there was actual research done into this. So it's not just, some AI slop. I can actually trust this information. And that's super important because anyone nowadays can just generate, AI slop. And AI generates just so many hallucinations. Sometimes it's really, really not good. And apart from the fact that we generate the full strategy and the full content for you, we also automatically publish it to your website. So you don't actually need to worry about, downloading or copy and pasting that article and then publishing it to your blog. We do that automatically for you with one click or an autopilot. And that's super important because it actually makes this platform easier to use for you, so you don't have to dedicate a lot of time to it. For anyone who's interested, SEOForge.ai actually has a free trial. I'm the founder behind it. We're a small team of 2 people. And we are trying to build something genuinely valuable for you guys. So we take feedback, feature requests. We also even help people manually if they have any questions or anything like that. Also, if you want to get the prompts that we use to run when auditing websites, just comment down below the word prompt and I will be sending this to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you have a great day. And if there's anything I can do to help, please reach out to me. Have a good day. Bye.